Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope I find you all in good health. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the albums I've been listening to recently. I'm going to talk about each album in turn and why I would recommend them to you. So first out of the gate today is an anthology album which covers two albums from the early to mid 70s by a gentleman called Roy Meriwether. Um, this album consists of the following: the 1973 Nubian Lady album, along with the 1975 Live at Magic Carpet album. So this is probably its fourth incarnation as an album, but this is the first one where you've had these two albums as a double gatefold album all in one set. So a good time to buy it is this current one. So the gentleman in question, Roy Meriwether, I hadn't heard of him. I saw the album cover, took an interest in the cover primarily, and had a listen and thought, yeah, I think I'll have that. So this is solid piano jazz, and it elicited lots of thoughts in me, not wholly positive. But in terms of the musicality on display, I've got no complaints. This has a number of lovely tunes on it. It made me think. One of the things it made me think of is if there was a Venn diagram with George Shearing on one side, and maybe somebody like Duke Pearson on the other. Mr. Meriwether, in my opinion, would fall somewhere where those two circles, where those two sides intersect. He'll be in the middle of it. He's very similar to both of them for different reasons, but yeah, I enjoyed the experience. I can't say that I didn't. Um, Another thing that kind of threw me about this album is when you take a look at superficially at the cover, it's got the kind of Nefertiti head and it's called Nubian Lady. And when you actually listen to the album itself, you realize that that's that's a really odd title for an album and an odd image. You're free to do whatever you want, to be quite honest with you, but when I see that type of title plus that kind of imagery, I'm thinking it's going to be more on the spiritual jazz side of things. And this album, truth be told, is as far away from spiritual jazz in the way that I'm saying it, then it could be. Yeah, if that makes any sense. This is not about consciousness or that kind of Afro jazz sound or anything like that. This is strangely enough, this is an album which feels probably 10 years out of date from the point of which it was released. This feels more like a very good 60s, early to mid 60s album rather than a early to mid 70s album. It's really strange, and I think they really probably not missed, but they kind of misrepresented what this album is from the title of the album plus the actual imagery on the cover. I think if they would have chosen a more conventional line, kind of blue note, kind of style of calligraphy, something like that, some kind of black and white imagery, like photo, I think that would have served this album a lot better than its current one. Anyway, so yeah, let's put the quality on the show here is really good. I'm not going to lie about that at all. There are some nice competitions interpreted through a gospel lens, so it's got that kind of flair. It's got that distinct kind of church-based sound to the piano playing, and there's nothing wrong with that. I found it thoroughly entertaining for what it was. Nubian, as I said, the cover and the title don't really match up. The three tracks that I would recommend from this album would be Smooth Silver Soul, Out of This World, and Here's That Rainy Day. Those three tracks are really nice examples of piano jazz. So if you just want to like show off to somebody about, you know, how sophisticated your jazz tastes are, you can play that, and it will, you know, for most people, the uninitiated, they go, wow, that's really good. People who do know about jazz will go, yeah, that's kind of cool as well. You know, what is that kind of thing? And then you can show them, and you say, and they'll go like, well, that's not what I thought it would sound like. But anyway, that's the first one, and as you can see, that was more to do with how it was presented rather than how it actually sounds. So yeah, very strange. The second album today is a 1978 release by Jeff Resnick, and the title of the album is School for American Craftsmen. Right, it's more of a matte cover, so there's not so much glare, thankfully, for once. This is an enjoyable journey. I really did enjoy hearing this album again. The sleeve notes for this album, and I'm only giggling because I'm bringing up the memory of it, reading it. The sleeve notes include a wildly improbable story of how this album came into being. Um, Even if this tale is not entirely true, I for one, enjoyed the the ripping yarn that this tale told. Um, yeah, it's really, have a read. That's, yeah. If you get the opportunity and you do buy it, or you know, whether CD or vinyl, you will find the sleeve notes, and yeah, it's an enjoyable tale. Um, there are several. Uh, okay, yeah, I've jumped too far ahead. This is a thoroughly, or should I say, professionally crafted body of work here. It's don't underrate it. There's some real high class things going on here, which they make seem easy, and that's always a really good indication of the level, the caliber of musicians involved and behind, you know, production staff, that they can make it seem as easy as this. When you know, you can hear that it's really sophisticated compositions. And if you do believe the story, it makes it all the more incredible that they were able to do it. Um, there are several interesting tonal shifts, giving me a better a better appreciation of the individual compositions, which are featured on this album. Yeah, it's a nice thing. It's lots of times on soundtracks, what you can get is the same track played at different tempos, and that's about it. That's the only trick. It's a one-trick pony. This one, no. Individual tracks, totally unique compositions in each case, and in terms of what instruments are being played at any given time, what has prominence, does shift around as well. So that's where you get some of the tonal, you know, changes, and you know, you can find it slightly jarring, but I enjoyed it. The three tracks that I would take from this album to have a good listen to would be Printmaking, Weaving, and Glass. Notables on this album are Raymond Ricker on flute and sax, and Sonny Kompeniak on piano, who does an absolutely lovely job on this particular one. So yeah, even just out of respect to that gentleman, have a listen to this album. He does some magnificent piano work on it. So give it a shot. Yeah, both the albums so far you should be able to get on vinyl still if you hunt around and you're willing to find it. It's not going to be ridiculous money, so give it a go if you happen to like it. The third and final album for today is a 1972 release by a gentleman called ODonnell Levy, and the album is called Breeding of Mind. Back to shiny covers. I'll show you that way. Yeah, I like this album. For me, this is like awesome guitar soul jazz. This guy he blew me away with his technique. I'm not a guitarist. I like to believe when I hear somebody playing a guitar to a high level, I like to believe I can recognize that, and I think that's the case in right here. Um, of the tracks on display here, I much preferred Levy's original composition to the remainder of the album. But I was going to go with that statement, and then I realized that was nonsense. What instead is, let's rephrase that. If you listen to Mr. Levy's compositions, his original ones on here, 3 or 4 times in a row, um, just play them on a cycle, and then go and listen to his version of it's just begun. It's only just begun. You'll get what I mean then. How good this guy is. It's really really good. For me, this album, what's really good about it, it gives you a sneak peek into Mr. Levy's actual talent is. It gives you, a concentrated version of it, and it's a great, not only a great introduction, but a great indication of what his future career could be, if he just maintains that standard. Who am I to talk? But he blew me away on this. He really did, and I'll be checking out some more of his back catalogue to see if he maintains that over the majority of his career. It'd be interesting to see, because as this being the first introduction for me at least, really good one. The tracks that I would recommend from this album are Breeding of Mind, Cherries, and The Chocolate Horse. They're the 3 original compositions by Mr. Levy. But do check out some of the other tracks, the more popular based ones. He does a real good job. Notables on this album are Manny Alabam, who is the orchestra arranger and composer. Chester Thompson he does a muscular session on drums. And lastly, Sonny Lester, who is the producer. Really, really good album. If you see it, for me, if you like a guitar jazz, it's a no-brainer. Just go and buy it. You're not cheating yourself. It's going to be reasonable money. So that's the third and final album for today. Again, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, share. Yeah, it'd be nice to hear some of your suggestions as well. So if you've got anything that you think I should be listening to or giving a whirl, I'm more than happy to try and seek it out if I can. So yeah, I hope to hear from you guys. Again, it was a pleasure. Look after yourselves, and I will see you for the next episode. So until then, take care. Bye bye.